Hello everyone and welcome to Minecraft for Education. In this episode we'll look at structure blocks and exporting 3D shapes. Go ahead and go into your account for Minecraft Education and create a new world. In those new worlds you're going to choose blocks of grass and create. And again, the reason why we use blocks of grass is because it gives us a nice flat world where we have no obstructions in the way. You're going to immediately go into C for Code Builder, and if the choice is given which method to use Microsoft Make Code. In Make Code, you're going to want to take note of the special word that activates your character, but we'll be looking at that in just a second. We're going to cruise down through Agent Tower, and we're going to open that example, and then note that the word tower is going to be our command for starting our agent. And then go ahead and play that. Your agent will be at your feet, and you have to make sure that you equip that agent with the blocks that were provided in the script. In this case it's oak planks, so make sure you hand over some oak planks to your agent. And remember, you right click the agent to do that. Now back up a little bit so that you give your agent some room. Press T on your keyboard because that's going to be your text command to your agent. And then you're going to type in the word tower. And in this case I like to back away and even fly up out of the way so that I can watch him build. This is time-lapsed a little bit. But as he's building, I'm going to be thinking about something very important. And in this case is I have to find the northeast corner of the structure before I can place a structure block. And we're going to explore why that is, but in this case that's what I'm going to be concerned about, is where is the northeast corner. Now since in Minecraft at least I'm not aware of an easy way to find north, south, east, and west, which are our cardinal directions, I use a little trick that I found online of playing a cobblestone down anywhere on the ground. In this case I'm just going to put it next to the building. Once I place that cobblestone block, I'm going to look for an L that's correctly shaped, a capital L that's correctly shaped in the top right hand corner of the block. Now if you look, that L right there in dark gray is the only L that's visible, and it's in the top right, which tells me now north is this way, south is back this way, east is to the right, and west will be to the left. I can now use this as a reference point to know which way is north, south, east, and west, and now I can easily tell where I would lay the northeast corner block. I want to do right on the edge of my structure, whatever it is. In this case I'm going to fly straight up, and I'm going to find the northeast corner of my structure. So again, the block below was my reference. And if I remember, the block was facing north based on where the L was. You can actually even see the L still on the block. So from up above, here are our cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, with right here being the northeastern most point. And that is exactly where I'm going to lay my structure block at that point. When you lay the structure block, you will dig up one block's worth out of the ground and lay it down. So you go into your inventory, E for inventory, search for structure block, drag it into your inventory, and go ahead and place it there. Now just to give you an aerial view, once I've placed it, I want to turn 180 degrees. You can see I've flipped 180 degrees and now have a 180 degree view from up above. And as you can tell, north is still toward the direction of the cobblestone block, but since I've turned 180 degrees, things are a little backward. Now the reason why I did that is because at this point the structure block becomes the origin of the XYZ coordinate system, which is what you use to export structures out of Minecraft, with the red line being X, the blue line being, in this case, Z, and the height line in this case, is going to be y. The next thing that's really important is to know how many blocks long your structure is. So what we would know beforehand is how long is x, how long is z, and how high is y. Well, we counted ours earlier and we found that x is 6 blocks long, z is 6 blocks wide, and the height of the building was 12 blocks. Once I know that, I can then give the parameters to the structure block of exactly which areas to capture. So when I land on the ground, I go next to the structure block and I right click it. Now I put in those parameters. I want the size of the X line to be 6 because it's 6 blocks long. I want Z to be 6 as well. And I want Y to be 12. Offset is 0 because we're right on the edge. Y is 1 because we don't want to count the ground, which is where the structure block is sitting. So Y, we want it to start at 1. Otherwise, if Y was 0, we would be including the grass with our structure. And then Z is going to be 0 as well because we're right at the origin. And like I said, on the top right there, you'll see that there is an X, Y, Z coordinate system as well that matches exactly to our previous drawing. Now, one thing that we're going to check is how do we know for sure that this is all correct? How do we know that I measured this, that Z is Z and X is X? Well, I'm going to show you here by placing some blocks that X is indeed the red line based on our location. So there's the graph again that matches our earlier overhead drawing, with red being the length, blue being the width, and for lack of a better term, green being the height. So let's just test this out by going down and placing some blocks on what we think is the X line. Place a couple here. Place a couple on the other side just to distinguish this shape. And then we're going to go back and we're going to look at our graph again and see what change has been made to our 3D structure model that is shown up. So go back to the structure block and right click it. And those blocks don't show up, but they don't show up simply because we kept the size of 6. So it wouldn't show up. Now let's just say, oh, well, we think maybe it was 8. Maybe it was blue, which we know it was on the red line for X. But let's just say, let's check it and see. Well, you notice it didn't show up. So Z we did have correct. Well, if we make X 8, you'll notice now all of a sudden those 2 extra blocks showed up because we did place them on the X line in the coordinate system. So that's just proof, not necessary to do, but that's just proof that we knew that we were in the right coordinates. So now we want to export this 3D shape because we want to manipulate it with some other tools. So I'm going to name this tower, click on 3D export, and I'm going to export it. It's going to give me a file save location, and I'm just going to throw it on my desktop, and it's what's called a .glb file. So I'll make sure that I choose desktop, save, and now let's go find it. So I find it on the desktop, right click, open with, and we'll start with open with 3D Builder. So I look at it and I can see that the shape is isolated. I can move it around, look at it from all angles. There are some things you can do with painting it, editing it, different things like that. I'm going to go into 3D print because let's just say I like how it looks and I want to be able to print it out. Now if you have a MakerBot printer or any other type of printer that's out there, you'll be able to connect and do it with that. That's a different video. But in this case, you'll notice that the first thing that comes up is that I need to fix it. And the reason why is because it was about 10 times as big, which was like 50 centimeters by 35 centimeters. So it resized it for us. at 50 millimeters, which is 5 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters. So then you can print locally, or you can order online. In this case, there's a third-party vendor that you can connect to that would print this for you, and they'll give you costs and everything like that, but we're not going to get into that, but just know that that possibility exists of being able to print when you're finished. The next thing we're going to look at, though, is we're going to right-click Open with 3D Viewer, in this case. And with 3D Viewer now, you can do what is pretty fun and exciting for a hybrid type of an exercise, where you can do a mixed reality structure with something that you've already made. So I'm going to go ahead and click on mixed reality here, and I'm going to treat this as if, okay, I've made a chess piece. And so I'm going to get a chessboard, and let's just see what this would look like on a chessboard. Now the fun thing with this is you could do this with solar system projects and different things like that. Mock-up models of things that students have made, maybe inventions or something, maybe something that fits a phone, and it's a phone case that they want to see what it would look like on the phone. There's cultures and civilizations and buildings that you've made that maybe some of it's made out of clay, and then some of it is some of the virtual mixed reality that you can include with it. So the possibilities are endless in this. So let's see what this would look like if we were to include it in our chessboard. So I might turn on mixed reality. There's my chessboard, and I can take that piece and I can rearrange it, I can spin it, I can drag it down, and I can put it on the chessboard in it. Sometimes it will just snap to position, as it did here. I'm going to change the size a little bit, and that's going to give me a good visual idea of what that piece would look like on a board if I wanted to make my own chess set, which is pretty fun. So let's say, well, I don't know if I want to use this as the queen. So maybe it looks more like a rook. So I could take the rook off, move it over there, resize it a little bit, and see what it would look like there. Again, the possibilities really are endless of creating some of a project with real materials and then including this as additional material. And I really like how it looks like it fits on the board. It gives you a firm idea of what it would look like there. And that's what it would be. Thank you for watching. If you're interested, follow me on Twitter at HarkeyII or subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching.